What I'm here to talk about today is going a step backward from the previous episode, really. I mean, while some of us may be in a position and can look at how we can create a national luxury brand, I believe the stage at which our industry is in India today is that first we need to develop a great strategy without thinking of just a luxury brand. We need to think of ourselves as purveyors of luxury and not going to the brand route as such. And therefore, I am going to talk of something called retail strategy. I am sorry, but we are having some challenges and I'm not able to connect my laptop, so you may not be able to see any of the screens. Listen to me, I'll try to be as clear as possible. And if after that any of you all want to see this thing, please message me and I will send you a PDF of the presentation. Strategy is a word that has been very, very loosely used by most people. Most of us think that when we make a plan, that's our strategy. But that's far from the truth. Strategy is not about a plan in any way whatsoever. And if you don't have a good strategy, it can lead to colossal challenges, including the failure of your enterprise on the whole. Now, by and large, when one talks of strategy, we talk of a company strategy, a business strategy. While this is very important, and that is what is going to drive the entire organization, actually there are many sub-strategies that one needs to develop. There is going to be a product strategy. There is going to be a marketing strategy. There is going to be a commercial strategy. And for most of us sitting here who are in the retail jewelry business, there needs to be what we call a retail strategy. Okay, so when we know that we need a strategy, I am not sure how many of us have even thought about what a retail strategy should be all about. And that, trust me, is a major challenge. Okay, so how are we going to address that? And that is what we are going to talk about today. Okay, so the company strategy is a must. You may be a part of a bigger organization or you may be a standalone store, but there has to be a company strategy. And supporting the company strategy based on the goals, based on the targets that you sell for your company, there need to be different strategies. A product strategy, a marketing strategy, as I just said, manufacturing strategy if you're a manufacturer. Now, strategy is all about doing what no one has done before. If you copy the store next door and say that this is going to be my strategy, you are going to be the second runner in the thing. You are not going to be the first. To become the first runner, you will need to do something that that person has not done. And that is the only way you can truly become a leader. And the worst thing about all this is that you're looking into the future. And unfortunately, none of us here on this whole world has any facts about the future. So it's going to be a conjecture. It's going to be something that you hope will happen or you hope you can make happen. And that is the best part. You can make things happen. So we're going to look at what retail strategy can be. So one thing you need to remember is that no retail strategy can be a standalone strategy. Okay? It has to sync with a manufacturing strategy. If you are not a manufacturer, it has to sync with the strategy that your vendor will adapt for you. There has to be a sync with the overall company strategy. Because you cannot make a product which you say that this is going to be my strategy, and the company is not prepared to sell it, or does not have the resources, or the distribution channel to sell it. So a retail strategy is a sub-strategy, and that needs to be totally in sync with the larger company goals. At the end of the day, it is the company goals that are important. It is that is going to make you stay in the business and flourish. And after all, we are all in a business, and the function of a business, the business of a business, is to make money. We are not a charity. And therefore, if my company goal is not matched, and if it is not fulfilled, are we going to make the money that we need to? No. Then that whole strategy is no good. Okay? So, sorry. Okay. As retailers, we are today in the best position to build a retail strategy. Though I am of the opinion that our entire industry as a whole needs to develop a retail strategy. As somebody mentioned while the previous session was going on, we talk of discounts, we talk of, that's not going to help you. I am of the opinion that we are already not taking all our costs into consideration. And that is why we are always complaining about the margins. How many of us, when we talk of a product cost, do we take a design cost into consideration? How many of us take into consideration the fact that out of 100 designs you make, you might finally end up selling only 15 or 20, or if you're very lucky, 50. But these costs are there. And then when you don't have these costs, you will cut corners. You will cut corners by way of quality, you will cut corners by way of service, you will cut corners in so many different ways. And that's not going to help you one bit. Okay? So, creating the right experience for our clients is our primary goal. You are in the business of selling luxury. You need to treat your customers, and you need to behave and have an atmosphere that is truly luxurious. So now let us look at some of the steps that we can do. To begin with, I'm asking all of you sitting here, how many of you all have done a market research of what is going to sell in 2025? Now, I'm sure none of us have done it. Okay, if you do not know what is going to sell in 2025, remember one thing. Although we are purveyors of luxury, we are not creators of trends by any stretch of imagination. But at the same time, anybody who's using a piece of jewelry wants it to match with the clothes that they're going to wear. The shoes match with the clothes that they're going to wear. Everything is synchronized. Now, if you do not know the trends, if you do not know the colors that fashion is going to promote this year, how are you going to create jewelry that is going to complement what that lady is wearing and what she wishes to match it with? It may be matching, it may be contrast, but there is a style factor involved. And we, as jewelers today, have ignored that particular fact. And let me tell you something, this is not really a part of the strategy, but because we have ignored the fact, we have never bothered to create a summer collection or a winter collection or a spring collection. And therefore, you do not do anything that will get the customer into your shop 3 times a year. Is that a retail strategy that we want to work with? I don't think so. And the second thing, you need to identify your target audience. For me, this has been a big question of debate, especially during the last week. I have been talking to one of the customers that I consult with, not here, in the US. And we got around to this very thing about why should I change my product composition. I said, who is the lady who is coming in to buy today? So he said, maybe 50 years old. I said, who was the lady who was coming to buy from you 20 years back? Saying 50 years old. I said, why has that lady changed? How long is your current customer going to buy from you? So if today you don't start attracting the younger generation of buyers, what is going to happen to your business 20 years down the line? I'm sure none of us have thought of this. And I'm sure none of us have even bothered to give it some amount of thought in what will be required. It's not only the service aspect. Today, you're not only working with the millennials, you're not only working with the Gen Z. Today, you're going to be working with a generation that is going to outlive and be much cleverer than both these generations. Do you know which generation that is? That's the generation AI. Today, everything is about AI. I want to question something, AI. I want to write a poem on my friend Ashok Minawala. I put in 5 things about that I know. I'll get 3 stanzas of a nice poem written. You have to be able to service the Gen AI. And if you don't do that, you're lost. Okay? You need to define your value proposition. A lot of us have done this. Okay, we have defined a value proposition to some extent for our businesses. But tell me, do we live up to the value proposition outside our premises? Are you the same person who believes in the same thoughts and the same values when you're not sitting in your shop? I think a lot of us don't. I know I don't at times. Okay, because I set very lofty targets when it comes to my professional ethics. Not very happy, not very proud to say it, but when it comes to that same things being applied to my personal life, there are times when I deviate. I'm sure all of us do that. It's not something new. Use data. Today, the world is driven by data. And all the data you get from your market research, from your all the talks that you have with people, talks that you listen from different people, pick up those things and then determine what your focus area will be. What is going to be the product mix? You have a target audience. You have the millennials, you have the Gen Z, and you have the Gen AI. Do you think the same product is going to sell across all of them? No. Do you have product for the Gen Z in your shop? Probably not. You're still selling the same old things that that person's grandfather and grandmother used to come and buy from you. How do you expect that person to come into your shop and take out his wallet and lighten it? Now, our aim has to be to lighten the wallet at the end of the day. So you need to have a good products mix and you need to have great merchandising. Even within that generation, they want things right from starting from maybe 10,000 rupees going up to 10 lakhs of rupees. There has to be a merchandise. And you need to do these things. If you want to be successful in your retail business, it's not going to happen by putting a full-page ad in the paper. Trust me. Instead, social media will deliver much more results to you and will be giving you far better ROI. Okay? You need to have a pricing strategy. Some of the things I heard, I completely disagree with it, and that's where I agree 100% with Ashok Bhai, is that it's not the price that is going to determine whether you are a luxury item or not. It's the design. It's the quality of the product. It's the way you present the product. It's the way you're going to talk to the client when he is in your shop. It's the way that you're going to help him to check out how easy is it. It's the way how you're going to pack it and give it to him in a bag. That is what is going to define luxury. As Richa said a little earlier, for her luxury is having her mother's hand-cooked aloo parathas. For that man sitting on the footpath, a laborer, for him a luxury is a bicycle, which helps him to travel from his home to, say, Bombay Central Railway Station. It's a luxury. That same guy, when he makes a little money, getting a two-wheeler is a luxury. For me, luxury is maybe sitting and crying in a Mercedes rather than in a Fiat. Everybody's luxury standards are different. For my son, luxury was retiring at the age of 34. That was luxury. Why? I want to spend time with the family. So luxury is different for different people. And therefore, you cannot have your salespeople trained only to cater to either the millennials or the Gen Z. You need to teach them to be adaptable. You need them to teach them how to recognize what the customer is all about and then behave accordingly. A lot of times I see the salespeople hovering around you at all times. Okay? While some people call it that they're being attentive to the customer, I feel very creepy about it. And I want to run out of the store. I know what I'm looking for. If I need help, I'll ask you. But then when I come and pick up something and say, no, madam, this is too small for you, are you telling me I'm fat? Is my neck so big that that single line necklace is too small for me? No, don't do that. Teach your salesmen to be inconspicuously attentive. They cannot be hovering around, but they should be noticing from far away what are the things that customer is looking at. At any counter, did she take a step forward and then come back again to look at something? Then when she asks you for help, go and pick up those pieces. Go and pick up that and tell her, okay, this is what it is about. Give them a story behind the piece. We have one guy who, from a salesman, turned a storyteller. Because every salesman has to tell stories. It's just that he changed his profession from a salesman to a storyteller. So you need to be able to do that. You need to have an unwavering focus on your customer. And you need to understand and study them at all times without any apprehensions whatsoever. You need to consistently deliver the product and the promise that you have made. There is no compromise on that. If you lose some money because of that promise you made, you can recover the money. But if you lose your reputation because you didn't live up to the promise you made, very, very difficult to recover from that. And trust me, that is something you should never ever do. And at the end of the day, delight your customers. Delight them to such an extent that they will just want to come back to be treated that way, even if they don't buy anything. And welcome them with open arms, even if they don't buy anything. You need to be able to do that. So, as I said, you need, sure. No? How to? So, can I answer this at the end? Because some of the things which will be covered in this thing. So, when we talk of market research, what are the things that we need to look into? Look into what is the status of the market today. I have been awake for 2 nights because I consult only with the American clients. I have just one client in India. Okay? Now, look at the status of their market today. Within the last 48 hours, that one guy with the Sunara Bal and whatever has turned their market upside down. I mean, imagine charging 30% duty, 33% to be more accurate, on jewelry, or 26% on loose diamonds. I have not been able to sleep because in the afternoon I am working. They get up when I'm supposed to sleep and then they want me to work at that time. But for the last 48 hours, there is turmoil in all of my clients. They don't know what to do. They ask people to ship yesterday. If it is not shipped yesterday and it does not reach the US Customs Office notification by Friday, end of day, Friday 12 o'clock in the night, it will go into Monday. So the duty already from 6.5% has become 10%, which is the base duty they start from Monday. And if it goes after the 8th, if it lands on the 9th, their duty is a whopping 33%. People are worried. And with the way the gold prices are, with the way everything is. So I have clients who called me up yesterday and told me, Hemant, do you think we can make all this in lab-grown diamonds? There's going to be a big business shift. And trust me, while doing all this thinking over the last 48 hours, one thought that has come to my mind is that you guys are all lucky. With so many exporters not being able to do business, you'll have far more suppliers available to you who are going to go bend backwards to cater to your requirements. Because their export business is going to go down the dumps if this continues. I mean, I'm only hoping that the party gets enough sense and impeaches Trump the way it did with Nixon, but that's a long shot. Okay, so market research is necessary. You need to find out what are the gaps in the market. When I sell jewelry, I have a very simple rule, and I tell all my customers that. I say, if you find my design in the store next door, don't buy from me. Very simple, don't buy from me. And I do not use certification of any kind. It is all certified by me and my company. And if there is one diamond that does not come out the way I have said it is, I will take the piece back and pay you double the amount in return. I am so confident of what I am doing. This is what builds a reputation. And this is what is going to help you build a brand, and this is what is going to help you to become an international brand at the end of the day. That is what you need to do. Another very important fact. We keep looking at competitors. But you don't need to look at competitors alone. You need to look at the comparators. As somebody said, today people spend most on food and beverages. But there are far more things that cost a lot more, maybe more than jewelry, but people spend on it, but not on jewelry. And of course, the Louis Vuitton. Let's not talk about the last year. Apparently, branded products are taking a hit also. But take a Louis Vuitton bag. Costs far more than a piece of jewelry. But people will stand in a queue overnight to make sure that they get a bag in the morning. You need to look at the comparators. Who are your comparators? Holidays, other luxury items, watches, luxury cars. I mean, think of it. I go and buy a luxury car, say worth about 100 lakhs of rupees. The minute I walk or drive the car out of the showroom and I want to sell it, you know what's the value? It's about 70 to 80 lakhs of rupees. Within those 5 or 7 or 10 minutes, please correct me if I'm wrong. And yet, when I sell jewelry, I am telling him that I will buy it back from you even after 10 years. Why do we have to do that? Because as I said in one of my comments right now, we are selling an investment, we are not selling a product. And today there are far better options to invest in jewelry. For all I don't have the statistics, but there are people here, even Shirin may be able to tell me, I would believe that diamonds have lost their value over the last 10 years. Okay, so where is my investment factor coming in? Yes, gold is thankfully doing well, so it offsets all other things. So we need to sell a product and not just an investment. Okay, you need to identify your target audience. You cannot cater to everybody and anybody. Define your audience. Don't expect the whole world to come and shop from you. Okay, that each audience, you have to understand them, you have to define their choices, you have to see what they need, What are the things that they look for? The Gen Z wants ethical sourcing. The Gen Z wants fair craftsmanship. Connect with them. And when you want to market a product, I hear all the time people talking of influencers. Actually, you know whom you need to connect with? You need to connect with cultural taste makers. Make good jewelry a part of the culture. No influencer will be able to deliver that the way you build that culture for yourself. And therefore use social media not just to showcase your product, but to create a tribe. You create a community that is going to believe in what you are offering to the world. Data usage, I think we spoke of. I don't really need to delve into it because it can be a vast topic. Pricing strategy, as we said, and as I said, we need to correct our pricing strategy. Invariably, we will go and buy from a shop in the US also. But for that same product, we will want to pay 1/3 in India. You're not getting the service that you want. You're not getting a lot of things. But even then, because we don't price it properly, we are cutting corners. And therefore, we are not giving them what they need. Online and offline. While this is a topic of debate I've had with many Indian jewelers also, I am of the firm belief that even if you do not want to sell online, have a very robust and beautiful and useful website. Today's generation shops by what we call SOBO. Shop online, buy offline. You need to have a robust website. You need to have a web presence. People are not going to discover you today till you have that. And trust me, everybody today, even I, when I go shopping, and I'm not a Gen Z, okay, I'm 70 years old. I will first research sitting at home and say, okay, these are the 3 places where I can find what I want. And then based on Google reviews and whatever else, I will decide, okay, I'll go to this shop first. If I can't find it there, I'll go to this shop. If I can't find it there, I'll go to the 3rd shop. Everything is about shopping online, buying offline. Especially certain categories. I will buy all my clothes online without thinking twice. My shoes I will never buy online because they have to fit comfortably. My clothes, if they're out of shape, it's okay. I am also out of shape with all the gadgets I'm carrying. Doesn't matter. But my shoes, no. If they're not, so I will buy them offline. I will shop online. I will see what is available, where, everything, blah, 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 but then wait and go to the shop and buy it. So that SOBO mode is what we are, an after-sales service. And we don't use that time properly. When that person comes in to solder a broken post, something as simple as that, which is a 5-minute job, take it in, attend to it immediately, but within those 5 minutes, start attending to the customer, show them your new collection, that she is not worried about when the piece is coming back. She is going to spend the next 15 minutes in your shop to look around. That is what is necessary. Okay. Customer experience. Somebody just asked me, how can we delight the customer? It starts with, I think Ashok Bhai said that, it starts with the store layout. If you have been to an Apple store, it is unlike any other electronic store. Yes, now Samsung and Sony have started copying that kind of a layout to a large extent. But it was Apple who was the brain behind it. It delights the customer. It makes him so easy for that customer to browse and see all the different products that are available, even use them if necessary. While that may not be possible for jewelry, I'm sure we can sit and think of creative ideas by which you can do a store layout. Right now, most of the stores I go to, this is this price point, or these are all chains. These are all necklaces. These are all rings. Come on, guys. I come with a budget of 20,000 rupees. I'm not coming just to buy a ring. Yes, if I'm coming to buy a ring, that's fine. But I'm coming with a budget of 20,000 rupees. What are the things I can get? Let me browse around. My 20 is in my mind. I might not mind spending 50. But if I get to see it well, then I'm going to think about it. Na? If you're just going to show me, if I come in and say 20,000 ka budget hai, and you show me only things that cost between 18 and 22, come on, you're not enticing me, you're not tempting me. And every human being is a sucker for temptation. Tempt him and he'll buy. Tempt the lady and she will buy. Tempt the child and he will buy. I remember many years back when I was young, the Rasna campaign was targeted solely at children. And I know my children used to come and actually tell me Rasna chahiye. They didn't want a soft drink. Of course, they were never allowed the soda, so the thumbs up and all was out. That was taboo for the kids. But when you asked them what do they want to drink, it was a Rasna. They targeted their audience properly. Or even today, 90% of the time when we say we want a photocopy, we are going to say, Xerox nikal ke leke aa. Xerox is a company's name. That process is not Xeroxing, it's called photocopying. This is, and when we talk of Tiffany's, do you know what is the first thing that comes to my mind when I talk of Tiffany's? The blue box. That packaging has become a brand identity. I don't need to read the words Tiffany. The minute I see the blue box or the blue bag in somebody's hand, मुझे उसकी औकात पता चल जाती है. भले वो सिल्वर का पीस लेके आया हो. But that is the difference. Okay, so you need to be well aware and to understand all these things. As I said, do not make your customer feel uncomfortable. And this, what the example I gave makes one feel, as I told you, I find it creepy. I'm sure most others would. If you go into a shop and you're looking at some clothes and you pick up something and then somebody from behind, you're still looking at the design and the pattern, okay? There's nothing more going on in your mind at that stage. And that lady will come and say, sir, ma'am, this is too small for you, need a double XL. How are you going to feel about it? Boss, I know my size. And I can see that this is small. But I'm looking at whether that pattern is going to suit me or not, whether that material is going to work for me. And if I am really a double XL and that piece that I am seeing is hard linen, you think I can ever take it away? Is it going to do any good for me to look in? So let your salesmen be helpful, but don't let them be aggressive. Okay? In your shop, have proper, well-displayed signage for what information you want to convey to your customer. Your salesman doesn't have to go and repeat all of that. Whenever I get onto a service call, whether it's an airline, whether it's a lab that comes home and takes your blood for testing, sorry sir, I understand your problem. You don't understand my problem. That is not called great customer service. The person who trained them has told them to speak that because that person thinks it's great customer service. But is it? When you're having a problem, that is why you call up the helpline. You're not calling up them to have a fun chat. And then that person keeps saying that I understand your problem, I understand your problem, I understand your problem. How good is it? Are you capable of giving me a solution? No. Make your salesman capable of giving a solution. Give them certain authority. Okay, discount up to 2%, 5%, 10%, 50%, you decide. But let them not say I have to go back to my boss. The salesman will feel better, the customer will feel better. Home delivery. I don't think that salesman needs to come and ask you, can I deliver this at home? You should have a system and you should have some norms set so that home delivery is possible. Give them payment options. There are so many ways that you can make sure that your customer gets delighted. And it's not about serving a thumbs up or an ice cream when he comes into your house. That helps, but that's not the way to delight them. Delight them by your actions, delight them by your product, delight them by your presentation. This is what is going to count. Does that answer your question to a certain extent? Yeah. Okay. So basically, you need to organize your store and product display in such a way that it gives the customer an emotional experience. We are here to sell emotions, not just product. When we say Hira hai sada ke liye, or jewelry is making me feel great when I wear it, you're selling an emotion. How many of us talk about an emotion? Or how many of us salespeople talk of an emotion when they're displaying a collection to some customer who has walked in? I doubt if any of us do. And what I'm talking about today, exactly 5 years, 6 years back, just before COVID, I have done a similar presentation to the fashion industry. Okay? And trust me, the results have been amazing. They've been very proactive. In fact, Ashok Bhai, an idea for you. When I started working with the fashion industry, the committee made a rule saying that if you do not do certain things as a minimum standard, you cannot put the federation logo on your shop. You have to. Because, see, like all other people, we are also resistant to change. That's a human tendency. And the only way to get them to change at times is through penalties of some kind of the other. Okay? I remember the seat belt case in Bombay. I myself never used to wear a seat belt till I got fined 3 times in 3 days. Started wearing it. And today I think everybody wears it. Okay, so there are different ways you penalize people. I know in my factory, when I was running a factory a few years back, if somebody is slow in his work, if he is delivering productivity that is below average, you know what was his punishment? He would have to stay for 2 hours after work every day and get trained. He would not get overtime for those 2 hours. But he would not bear the cost of training. That was my cost. There are different penalties. Penalties that need toxic attention, penalties that need an empathetic attention. And they are both distinctly different. And both work differently. And you need to use both depending on if that same guy who has sat for 20 days, 2 hours each and is still not improving, boss, then it's the question of shape up or ship out. But first give him the chance. Okay? Build a brand or build a private label. You may be one shop. In a tier 4 city, you are catering to a geographic area of maybe 100-kilometer diameter or 50-kilometer radius. Be a brand within your geographical area. Create a private label of your own. It doesn't have to be national. No way. It doesn't have to be anything beyond your sphere of influence. But for that, give them everything, all the trappings that they would expect from a national brand. Give them everything that you promise them, and more. Under-promise, over-deliver, always a recipe for success. Stand out. Don't be the guy next door. Okay, if you stand out, somebody is going to look and say, थोड़ा अलग है, चल अंदर जाके तो देखते हैं क्या है. और अंदर आने के बाद भी अलग होना चाहिए. I remember I started with a jeweler in Ahmedabad. We made a small counter of just about 3 feet at the far end of the store. And we kept advertising on social media. Now, all the product in that store was actually, I'm talking of about 10 years back, was made of silver and CZ. But it was an experimentation of new designs. And we would promote it on social media, saying that, okay, this is the new collection. We introduced 6 collections over 6 months. At the end of 6 months, when we sat down to review, 20% of the store sales in gold and diamond, that means people pre-ordered, had come from those 6 collections. 20%. You need to take the risk. And what is the risk in our industry? Except the labor cost. Your gold is recyclable. Your diamonds are recyclable. That the two of them account for more than 75% of your investment. You lose the labor. Yeah, the little interest that you spend on investing. But imagine the returns that it's going to give you. Okay, so stand out. Somebody talked of AR and VR. Today, I think it's more about AI. Today, AR and VR are there. They are helpful 100%. There's no doubt on it, whether it's online or offline. At both the places, AR and VR are helpful, but today you have to think of AI. Think of how you can use AI. Think of how you will do 360-degree marketing. That's what is going to be the need today. And as I said, try and cater to those guys who are the sobo people. Shop offline, buy online. Okay? So, use social media to the fullest. And trust me, I don't have a big social media footprint, but I run a podcast channel called Thought Shots. Okay? And it's done wonders for me. I still don't I don't promote Thought Shots actively except on LinkedIn, and I have my YouTube channel and my Spotify channel. But I have started doing these kind of talks every week. Every week. And that's not from my industry, so I don't have to do it for no cost. They pay me to do it. I would never expect that from this industry because this is where I gained a lot of things. Okay? So this is what I think you should be doing. Remember one thing. A well-planned and thought-of retail strategy will increase your sales. It will increase your profit. It will help you get a far better company valuation, and it will give you sustained growth all through. So there's no two thoughts about it. You need to develop a good retail strategy. You may not be able to do it yourself. Take the help from friends, take the help from consultants, take the help from whatever category, whatever stage you need it, but please go ahead and do it. That's the only way. But bottom line, this is the last statement I'm making. The best business strategy is a satisfied customer. That's it. Anybody has any questions, please? Right? Okay, thank you, everybody.